Hello and welcome to Stress Less with me, Jess. Today, my special guest is Stefanie Adams. Hi, Stefanie.
Good morning, Jess. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We were just talking about how it's daylight savings today as we're recording, and we're just regrouping on some life.
Extra cup of coffee this morning.
Yes, I did an extra scoop to make it a little thicker today.
Mm-hmm.
So you are a Chief Empowerment Officer with WNY People Development. You provide customizable training and development options for leaders at all levels, which I love because we all kind of specialize. You emphasize on the first time and the frontline managers, leveraging 20 years of experience in nonprofit, educational, and corporate settings. You provide tools, strategy, and coaching to spark trust, confidence, and balance. You're the creator of CheerLEADERship and leadership model that builds high impact teams and positive work-life culture. I'm so excited to have you on here. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited. Yes, this is so amazing. So we met, how long ago did we won't talk about, I forget.
Yeah, it's been about a month.
It's been about 1 month.
Yep.
But your energy was so high and what you do is so amazing. So obviously, you send me the little blurb of what you do, but it never captures what you do. So please, in your own words, tell us all about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Stefanie Adams, Chief Empowerment Officer of WNY People Development. The company is called WNY because that stands for Why Not You. In my work experience over almost 25 years now, I've looked, I always have been that person that has raised my hand, stepped forward, tried something that was completely outside of my comfort zone. And it's led me to some incredible opportunities. And I have found that confidence is a barrier for so many people to becoming great leaders. So, WNY is the focus of the company, but the mission is to generate to create the next generation of leaders. So for me, and I'm sure, you've worked in different settings, that first time experience as a manager is daunting because you might be great at a job as an individual contributor. But when you step into that role as a leader, it's something a lot of people aspire to. It's something they feel that they want, but they find that there's a whole different list of challenges now that they may not be fully equipped to tackle. So that's really what the purpose of WNY People Development is. When I started, it was to really focus on that millennial and Gen Z workforce. They are the future. Building understanding, creating effective communication strategies, and helping people become the best leader. Because we've all heard that phrase that people don't leave jobs, they leave managers. So if we can get them on the front end and teach them how to become great leaders, it's going to help elongate that process and help them empower more people and find success in their professional careers. So that's what I do. I have an experience in educational consulting. I've worked in post-secondary education. I actually currently teach at UNCW here in Wilmington, North Carolina, one class a year. But I decided to go out on my own after a corporate training manager position 3 years ago now. Just celebrated our third anniversary as a company, but life is life. And, I launched on February 29th, 2020 to do in-person interactive customized training, and the world had a different plan. So, 2 weeks later, COVID shut everything down. So it's been a really interesting path. To virtual was not something that was part of my business plan, but that really opened my eyes to possibilities. And so, yeah, I just believe that we all can learn and grow, and I want to impart that with the clients that I work with across industries.
I love one of the first things that you brought up was, we're really good at our job and you see that person succeeding and killing the sales and mastering the work and everything in between, and then they get promoted. But what people don't realize, and I think this is where, like you were saying too, is where a lot of the struggle comes from, is that you're put in management because you're good at the job. You're not put in management because you're a good manager. And they're two different skills. And as much as I believe that as a manager, you should know everything that your people are doing and should know how to do it, I definitely believe that. But there's a different skill when it comes to managing. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm really good at this job, so I can lead it. Teaching, leading, guiding, patience, confidence to tell somebody you're not doing something right. Confidence to tell somebody, hey, this is awesome, but, right? It's a very different. And I think that's where People don't understand why leadership training is so important.
And I think now too, there's a new aspect of it. The multi-generational piece is a big thing that I focus on, because the management style, that top-down management that our boomers and Gen Z are very comfortable with, is not what the millennial and Gen Z workforce flourishes under. They're looking more for a coaching culture. And I think that, there's this movement, especially post-pandemic. We're finally starting to see people for people. We were all working at home in this capacity, and we were seeing our dogs throwing up in the background and having to go clean it up. We had children that were like tugging at our sleeves, like during a meeting, being like, Mom, Dad, can you help me? And I think, as much as COVID disrupted the world, there were a lot of positive things that came out of it, in my opinion, from a workplace culture standpoint, because we really are focusing on wellness. I mean, what you do, I think, is fantastic. And I think that, being able to help people prevent burnout, being able to help them become more resilient. I say it in my sessions all the time. We are not okay. And that is okay. Talk about it, be vulnerable about it. As a leader, my dad passed away in 2014, and it was a very surprising experience. And he coded in mid-October and ended up passing about a month later. That trauma that sits in your body from those life events. I'm not my normal self between October 17th and November 18th. And I would say that to my team when that time of year would come up, be like, guys, listen, I am here. I am here to support you. Nothing has changed, but I know that I'm not going to be at my best for the next couple weeks. So I just want you to know that this is why, and being that vulnerable leadership, it also gives them permission to say, hey, I'm not doing okay today. And by seeing the whole person, you're the best leader you can be, because they feel supported in all aspects of their role, not just what can I produce? How much money did I make? Did I hit this project deadline? No, you care about me as a person. So I think that that is such an important aspect of COVID. It helped leaders really recognize that.
And I think also with that, like you said, if I'm going to be vulnerable, if I'm going to be open and honest, it's going to trickle down, right? I'm going to set the standards for how my team's going to go as well. But I think what also, and this is what I've seen in my work, so tell me if you agree with this. When I've spoke about this, the first hand that's usually up is, well, that I don't want them just to not show up or do a job, because we have to carry them. So in the sense of, oh, well, hey, I'm having a bad day, woe is me, and you guys just have to deal with it. And I think that's where some people automatically feel like that's where it's going. And I try to tell them, no, it's just going, hey, maybe I'm moving a little slower today. Maybe I'm going to actually repeat something. Maybe I'm not my happy-go-lucky self, but I'm still working. I'm still providing, my job skills and things like that, but I might not be at this top level. And I think that's where this might get miscommunicated. What do you think?
So I totally agree with you. And it's not about like shirking job responsibilities or saying, sorry, I need to take time off. Now, I am a person that believes that if you're not at your best, and this is one of my core components of cheerleadership, and I talk about wellness because, there were plenty, I was a 15-year cheerleader, 5-year coach. And so one of the things that happens if you're having a bad day and you come to practice and you're trying to throw a stunt where someone's life potentially is at risk if they fall, if you're not at your best, you're distracted by other things, I'm going to pull you from the mat. Why? Because you're not going to be effective in protecting the person that you're responsible for. Yourself may get hurt. So, we talk a lot about the importance of recognizing where you are. For me, I train on doing effective one-on-ones, and one-on-ones are a foundational responsibility of leadership. I will fight anybody on that conversation. If you tell me you don't have time for a one-on-one as a leader, you should not be in a leadership role. Sorry,
Mic
soapbox.
drop.
But in that effective one-on-ones, one of the things that I talk about, I always reserve the first 10 minutes of the agenda for burning issues. Whatever my team member needs to talk about, whatever is front and center of their mind, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, it doesn't matter. That is their time to get it out and to talk about it, because we can't get to the work until we talk through the issues and the things that are maybe distracting us away from the work. And so I think that being able to, again, create the space and give permission to be you, And it's not about, hey, I don't want to do my job. It's about, I've got this thing happening in my life right now, and it is distracting me. And when I am distracted, I am going to let members of my team down, and I don't want to do that. So talking through that conversation, letting the person know that you're there to listen. And if you can provide support, if you can direct them to places that can give the support, even if it's personal, work with your HR department, find out what, support resources are out there for that person if it's something external of the job. But again, taking that time to talk with your team member, it makes all the difference.
It makes so much difference because, like you said, you're given that platform to open up and hear what's going on. Whether, like you said, it's personal or just what's going on work too,
Mhm.
right? It's both sides, right? So either it's a safety thing, hey, I can't provide my job. I work a lot in construction fields. So if I can't run these machines, if I can't support my team, they need to know, right? So there's
Mhm.
that. But also in the sense, if something's not working, whether a machine's not working, a system's not working that's put in place, a time that they provided that's not going to be able to meet, just having those conversations, but also knowing why. So like you said,
Mhm.
with that resources, whether it's that outside emotional support resources or going, oh, we can edit this system, or I can talk to someone about this time management thing, or whatever the case may be. We're just having those moments to have those conversations. I know with my workshops too, a lot of this is brought up in the sense of the management's not always aware that
Yeah.
these are the problems. And the crazy thing is too, is these are usually small problems we can fix,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know?
And I think it gets a little bit dicey when it becomes interpersonal, because sometimes the problem that you're bringing to the table is that you're having a conflict with someone on the team. And I am a huge believer, one of my jobs in my career, I had a team of four, and two of the people on my team didn't get along. And the first thing that I did after I came into that role was I observed for like the first 30 days, figured out how everybody worked, their motivators, things like that. But I put the two of them in a room together, and I said, we're all going to sit here and we're going to talk through what are the issues, because we're only as good as our weakest link. And if we're not working together as a training team, we are not going to be effective for this company. So let's figure out what it is. And once they got to the root of the issue, it just was a matter of maybe just not understanding each other's work styles. And so once we understood that, we understood why, why do you work? Oh, I have the same reason. I'll have my job for the same reason too. Now we're finding things that we have in common, but that interpersonal conflict can derail a team as much as a computer system going down, or as much as, maybe you just want to find out where, my work ID, where can I get a discount, in town, whatever it is. But whatever that distraction is, some of it can really disrupt the progress of what you're trying to accomplish.
You're absolutely right. I mean, we've all been there, right? We don't have to be best friends with people. We don't have to go have
Mhm.
Thanksgiving dinner with our coworkers, but
No.
being able to work with somebody and not get off track, because a lot of times when we work with somebody that we're not besties with, we're like, oh,
Mhm.
she's so annoying when she does this. They're annoying when they do this. They can't write this. They do it this way. Why would they do it? And
Yeah.
you're so focused on all the things that they're quote unquote doing wrong and
Mhm.
not really focused on the job and getting the job done.
Yep.
You're just making that shift or that day or that project longer because we're
Yep.
so consumed. So figuring out what the quote unquote issue is, how do we make those steps through it? And again, just realizing no one's asking you to be best friends. No one's saying, go
Mm.
have a happy hour together, go shopping together, whatever the case may be. How are you going to work together? That's it.
Yeah. And understanding, I do a lot of training around inclusive practices. And again, that multi-generational thing, because there's so many times that I walk into, whatever company, company XYZ, and they're like, gosh, those Gen Zs just aren't doing the things that we want to do, or that boomer doesn't understand the technology, or this person, they're just not listening to me. It's not that they're not listening to you. It's not that they don't understand this, that, or the other thing. It's that they do it differently than you. So being able to sit down at a table and say, okay, are you a listener or are you a reader? Meaning, are you the type of person that wants the information first so you can read it and then have a conversation? Or are you the type of person that wants to talk through it first and then get a summary on the back end? Are you the kind of person that's a big picture person, or are you a details person? Some people are not going to want to get started on a project until they have every piece of information. I'm not like that. I'm big picture. I'm going to go. If I fail along the way, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to fix it. No big deal. That puts a lot of people in a very uncomfortable space. But if we understand that about each other, we can leverage those pieces. And so that, takes the conflict out of it. Like, you're asking me questions, not because you don't trust me, you're asking me questions because you're uncomfortable getting started until you know these things. So just having that conversation, it just makes it comfortable. And now we can do better things together.
I love the part about the questions, right? Because it's so common that someone is going, okay, what about this? And what about this? And someone's going, they get defensive. Well, why are you asking
Yep.
so much questions? You don't trust me. Now I don't like you because you don't trust me. Now I'm going to go call Karen, how you don't trust. And she's going to say that you do the same. And it's just like the spiral. And we just feed into it. You talked about earlier about that trauma, how we keep it inside. Well, that's where what it is. And then we get festered,
Yep.
it's, but like you said too, whether it's different age generations groups, if it's different departments. I know, again, with me working with a lot of construction, it's oh well, the in-house people and the office people.
Yeah.
Oh no, not those office people, they don't know what we're doing, right? Like, so it's, we just start these labeling. It's going, okay guys, reel back.
Yep.
We're all here for the same thing. And I always talk about how I worked in the restaurant industry for years. It didn't matter who did what. You needed everybody. You needed the valet guys to get the car. You needed the host to sit. You needed the bussers to clean. It didn't matter where you were, but you needed everybody. If we lost a busser, we were upset because we couldn't, we had to clean our own tables. If we lost the food runner, we were so frustrated. So these quote unquote small positions mean so much, right? So,
And I also think that the other piece of it, so one of the companies that I used to work for was a software development company. When you're problem solving, we get stuck in problem solving with people that are like-minded, right? It's our affinity bias. We're going to talk with people that we're comfortable with, that look like us, that know what we know. That's our comfort zone. What I used to do was pull in, hey, if I've got software developments having this leadership issue, I'm going to bring somebody in from sales, someone from customer success, and somebody from HR. And let's talk about that as a group, because you're going to bring a different perspective to that conversation and go, I never thought of it that way. That's what we need to do. Instead of looking at our differences as a negative, look at the differences as strengths, because where I lack, you can fill in. And again, if we're all working towards the same mission as of the company, then we should be able to move forward in the same direction, just in a different way, but it's all supporting the same goals.
yes. So for the listeners, and they're writing everything down, they're saying, yes, I need this. I need this. What is the best way for them to contact you?
So our website is WNYPeopleDevelopment.com, and my direct email is Stefanie, Stefanie at WNYPeopleDevelopment.com. I always laugh because my mom tells me that she wanted me to be special, and that's why she changed my name to STEF rather than the PH. And I laugh because growing up, I never was the kid that could get the license plate for my car or the license plate for my bike. I couldn't get pens with my name on it, because they were never spelled correctly. So I always joke with her, I'm like, I'm going to be in therapy for years because you gave me a special name. But it's Stefanie, Stefanie at WNYPeopleDevelopment.com. We're also on Instagram at WNY People Development. We are also on LinkedIn at WNY People Development. And, we work, I think our target really is small to mid-sized businesses, those companies that have an HR department of one or two, and they're doing all of it. They're doing comp and bens, they're doing employee relations, they're doing recruitment. It's a lot. They do not have the time to do training assessment, like training needs assessment, and then to be able to create the content that their company needs and to then deliver it. So what I do is I come in, I find out where your pain points are, we talk through it, I make recommendations based on what I've heard, and I create a fully customizable program for your team.
Love it. What is the one thing you want the listeners to take away?
Oh gosh, you know what? Work doesn't have to feel awful. And I think that so many people, it's such a negative thing. And I want people to go, why not me be the change at the office? Why not me raise my hand in that meeting for the first time and step up and say, I want to contribute to this conversation? Why not me go for that promotion that I know that I've worked towards? Why not me just look at life in a different way? Because, work is no longer about working to get a paycheck. We all want to get paid. I understand that. However, there is so much fulfillment that we can get from what we do. And so finding that job, that position that aligns with your goals, your interests, what you care about, your values, find that. It's out there. And if it's not in your current position, really dig into why is that? What am I doing that's not, what about this role doesn't fill my cup? And so sometimes it's just a little tweak. And it's just, I need to talk to my manager about this. I need to get some training on something new, whatever it is. But yeah, I just, I think that finding joy at work is happy. There was a study that came out at the University of Warwick not too long ago that, happy people are 12% more productive. They're more agile, they're healthier, they enjoy what they do. Strive for that. Figure out what is that happy place for you in your professional career.
Awesome. You ready to get into the lightning round?
What's that?
You ready to get into the lightning round?
Yes, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. What book are you currently reading?
Gosh, what I've been going through three. The one that I most recently read was Twyla Tharp's Keep It Moving.
Oh,
I'm in between right now. It's great. It's about aging and it's about your body. I'm a former dancer and it hits me in so many ways. So Keep It Moving, Twyla Tharp, highly recommend it, but I'm in between books.
what podcast do you listen to?
Yours. I've been listening to yours lately. I was excited to come on. I was like, I want to hear about Don't Stress with Jess. Let's go. So I've been listening to yours and anything.
I did not pay her to say that.
And anything by Adam Grant, any podcast that he guests on or that he is hosting himself, he is one of my favorite people to listen to and very much feeds into a lot of my belief system.
Yeah, he's a good one for sure. What is your favorite childhood candy?
Oh gosh, Smarties or M&Ms.
That's
two totally different things.
What was your favorite childhood Halloween costume?
I was a 50s girl. I had this really cool skirt with the poodle on it, and I just remember that was my favorite ever because it twirled. I love a good twirl.
Yes, the little twirl. Yes. Yep, all in the hips. If you had a boat, if you don't already have one now, what would be the name on your boat?
Why not you? Absolutely.
What is your way that you relieve stress?
Yoga. I really try. I discovered it when I was pregnant a million years ago, and I did prenatal, and then it kind of took a pause for many years, but I've rediscovered it during COVID, and it has been just a calming of the mind. Serving in public office, you need to calm your mind, and it was a huge help, and I continue to do it now, and I love it. And
what's your favorite ice cream?
Ooh, mint chocolate chip. That's my son and my favorite. We share it together.
The green one, because apparently yes. I didn't realize there's a big difference between the white and green until my current relationship. So
not the Breyers white one, the green one, the original green looking.
Did not know there was a difference. So until I brought it home, what is this? Ice cream and ice? No, okay. All right, Stefanie, thank you so much for coming on here and joining us. Everything that you said was going to be in the notes show. So anytime you want to be contacted, anywhere you're listening, all her information will be there. Stefanie, thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you for having me, Jess.